understanding that you...
Stacking milestone wins. I mean, you had the Carolina game last year, Virginia Tech. I mean, what's the locker room like after these? You guys getting used to this feeling now?
I don't think you ever take it for granted. Our locker room was joyous. Certainly they know what they accomplished, you know, and they should feel good about it. You know, we talked about tomorrow, you know, and I told them have a great time, and they remind themselves, you know, it's really great to hear players saying, hey, you know, be smart on social media, conduct yourself the way our standards are. Players, not me saying this, players. And then, you know, at the end, all I added is we got to have a great Sunday. Here's our Sunday schedule, reminder. They already have it, but and they're all nodding their head. I mean, they're ready to get to Sunday, which is a good sign. Does it guarantee anything? No, it guarantees we hopefully have a good Sunday, and that's what we're going to shoot to have tomorrow.
What was the turning point? I mean, this is, historically speaking, this is the last 2 weeks are not Duke football. You've thrown the interceptions. You're finding different ways to win in the past. Duke usually finds ways to lose in those situations. At what point during this season, or going back to last season, was that spot?
That's a great question, because I really don't know that there really is one, other than we have guys that have been raised in the system and the process. They've done it enough now. I think winning a year ago, you can't underestimate that. They also know that they played really well at times in November and didn't win. So the theme coming back in January was hungrier. It was, what can we do to finish better? I mean, they wanted to know. And I thought our summer was the best summer we had. You know, are those turning points? I don't think so. I think what they are is the process taking hold is what I hope's happening. Because you can maintain that if that's the case.
Now, how do you maintain? It's one thing to make a bowl.
Right.
Again, you guys are in a different category now. At 7-2 in the coast. How do you keep that away from the players?
You know, they're going to get patted on the back a lot, and I'll address that not only now. I address all these things in August, the what ifs, we call them winning edges. It's a lot of years. I have checklists of all the mistakes I've made, which the books, plural, are all about this thick. So I take and I go through those in the summer. I'm trying to computerize this stuff, by the way. I'm not that archaic. But you talk about these things before they happen. And right in here in this room. And I mean, it's almost a chat as opposed to a lecture. And so they hear. And when they've heard it the 4th or 5th year, you know, you hope the process takes place. And there's no guarantees. You see it all over the place. And, you know, we keep trying to recruit the right kind of people. The process never ends. It's from the bottom up. You know, you're always building from the bottom up. So we just got to keep working hard and trying to be the best we can be, whatever that is.
Understanding that
your students were chanting, "We want Florida State," as they were leaving Ball State.
Hold your horses. Let's go get ready to have a good Sunday. It would be my comment too. And I love them. Thank goodness for their energy, their youth, their enthusiasm, and their inexperience. You know, let's get ready to have a good Sunday.
Understanding that you still have goals and you still have to keep things under perspective, 7 wins guarantees a winning season. That's another threshold that you guys have now crossed. Is there any significance to that, and if so, what is it?
Well, it is significant, and because it was significant to our players. They stated that early on as an important part of this process, because we hit that 6-2. And then proceeded to lose 5 straight games. You know, that didn't taste very well to them at all. Taste very good to them at all. And you know, we played really good at times in that bowl game. The last game we played last year, and we couldn't finish. And that didn't feel good. Didn't sit well. So this was part of it. Now it's done. I don't feel like our guys felt maybe a year ago when we hit 6-2 in that North Carolina game, and you felt like you had to take a deep breath, and it was like, oh my. That was kind of a 5-year culmination, you know. This, I hope, creates hunger, and it's what it should do. And I can't predict that, but I hope that's what it does.
Coach, you were talking about the keys to success. What I've seen from my standpoint, it's a team's playing 4 quarters now. When did you first see that was kind of happening? I mean, early in your career, you know, they struggled a little bit to put those 4 together, but now that seems to be a commonplace thing.
It's just, it's 4th and 5th year seniors and juniors, you know, leadership. It's spring practice when your scrimmages take on a different flavor and they're competitive offensively and defensively right down to the wire. And you create those circumstances out there, and you know, I know that it's just been different. You know, we had scrimmages and days where we really looked like a good football team. I don't know that I've seen, and sometimes this happens, our team look as good as we've looked at times in practice yet. Yet, that's the key. So, you know, if we can take an execution to another level, and we got obviously 3 games left, 1 at a time, 3 tough ACC games, 1 at home, 2 on the road. The only thing we need to worry about or focus about is Miami, obviously, and having a great crowd here at Wallace Wade Stadium to send Ross Cockrell, Justin Fox, and Kenny, and Dave, and Perry. And, I mean, think about what these seniors have accomplished, you know. Just tell them goodbye properly, you know, and that's important to me right now, that and practicing good tomorrow.
Is it fair to say this is your most special senior class?
Well, I think they are. Then there are 11 guys, you know, and they've had a nice 2-year run. And we got Perry Simmons, who's a National Football Scholar finalist for the Campbell Trophy. We've got Dave Harding on the Good Works team. Dave Harding just was the Danny Werfel Award. Ross is 2 or 3 other things he's been nominated for. They're playing good on the field. We're going to have some all-conference players in that class. And, you know, I mean, I think we need to celebrate who they are here next week.
It's 7-2. Is each week the biggest game of the season from this point forward?
I think so. You know, I don't think there's any question. And that's the story of November. When you win one, the next one gets tougher. You know, and that's the way it's supposed to be. If you win one, you won one. Now the next one's bigger and tougher. Not just because it's Miami, it's just period. And if you're fortunate enough to win another one, the next one gets tougher. And it's fun. I want them to enjoy playing meaningful games in November. I said it a year ago, and I enjoyed watching our team compete a year. You know, ball bounces a little differently a couple times in Atlanta a year ago. I don't know what happens. You know, go back there in your mind. You know, to the guard making a first down. You know, so.
Coach, November's been a difficult month, obviously, since you've been here. What does it mean in terms of, from a program standpoint, to get the first win, the first game in November this year, and in front of an atmosphere like that?
Well, the atmosphere is really meaningful, critical to the success. Don't think for a second that didn't ignite their fire. It does. It's big, and it's significant to our program. The second thing is that, again, Daniel, we're going to just keep the process. Push, push, push. You know, and whether it's, you're trying to win a month, whether it's September or whether it's November. And oftentimes your team's different in November because of injury, because of different circumstances. This is on the line, that's on the line. So you love to see how they respond. This is, you know, everybody wants to play off. We're in it right now. All the chips are down for everything right now, and it's fun to watch.
Don Edwards is someone who, last spring, you thought could potentially factor into the starting position at cornerback. He changes positions. What do you think that transition says about him as a person?
He's just a special young man, willing to do whatever it takes, and it's what we've tried to do. We're trying to recruit defensive backs. I don't want safeties and corners. I think I've told y'all that before. They say, well, this guy can play safety. What does that mean? I've taught you. What does it mean, Dan? You remember? Can't cover. And then they said, well, this guy, he's a cover corner. That means he won't tackle. You understand what I'm saying? We want defensive backs, and Devon is that kind of guy. I'm not too good a teacher, Dan, you didn't remember. So maybe you wanted that session, because I know you're bright too. But, you know, and that's helped us a lot. That's given us a lot of flexibility in the back. We just want good defensive backs.
How did you like the atmosphere?
I was happy. You know, I mean, it was special. It was great. Always looking at corners and looking look around, I was, great atmosphere with two great bands playing, kind of battle of the bands going on. And, it was just good to see a sea of blue, fun. That's what a Duke, North Carolina State football game should look like from that perspective. And it was really good. I hope they're all stuck in traffic still. That's a good thing. All right. Hey, one last thing, because it's important to me. It has nothing to do with this ball game. But my first cousin, Dr. Jerry Gibbons, got to come to this ball game, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and I appreciate that very much. Good luck.